Hello everyone, welcome to General Hospital Daily Channel. Please hit the subscribe button and give this episode a thumbs up. Anna on Emerson Mountain and the trap that is almost ready. Let us start with Anna and the land on Emerson Mountain because the specificity of this detail, a named location, a real transaction with Sunny, a piece of property that Anna is actively keeping secret from the people around her, moves the Britt storyline from conceptual threat to operational reality. Anna bought land. That is the fact at the center of this development. Not a plan she is thinking about, not an intention Peter has been whispering toward, but a completed real-world action. She approached Sunny. She asked for a parcel of land on Emerson Mountain. She described it as a private retreat. Sunny, who has no reason to connect Anna's desire for a secluded property to anything sinister, agreed to sell it. The transaction is done. And Anna does not want anyone to know about it. That combination, a remote property on a mountain, acquired secretly, described in language that creates a cover story without raising immediate alarm, is exactly what you build when you are preparing to do something that cannot happen in any ordinary location. Peter, who has been steering Anna with the specific patience of a voice that never needs to sleep or pause or consider whether it is right, has apparently gotten what he needed. He wanted a discreet location. Anna has found one. The specific scenario being described, Peter encouraging Anna to potentially recreate the kind of captivity that has been used in Port Charles before, keeping Britt in some kind of isolated containment rather than immediately ending things, is actually more narratively consistent with the show's likely direction than a clean murder would be. General Hospital brought Britt back from a death that was previously final. The decision to do that was a significant creative and production investment. Having Anna kill her again, relatively soon after that resurrection, would undermine everything that investment was designed to accomplish. What makes more dramatic sense, and what creates a longer, richer story with more potential resolution points, is Anna going to that mountain with Britt, having the moment of crisis where Peter's voice is loudest, and then not completing what Peter intends. Not because Anna is choosing not to, but because Anna is wrestling with herself so visibly and so desperately that Britt sees what is actually happening. Britt, who is a physician and who has direct personal experience with Liesl's specific variety of dramatic crisis, may be the person best positioned to reach Anna in that moment. Not as a victim trying to escape, but as someone who can look at what Anna is experiencing and recognize it for what it is. A captive Britt watching Anna argue with a hallucination is terrifying on its face. It is also a situation where Britt's specific skills and background become the thing that saves both of them, her ability to see Anna's mental health crisis clearly and respond to it as a clinician rather than simply as a person who is afraid. The rescue that is coming from outside, from Jason or from Tristan, or from Liesl's maternal radar firing at exactly the right moment, is still part of the story. But the inside of that mountain property, before anyone arrives from the outside, is going to be one of the most psychologically intense sequences this summer has produced. Sunny, who sold Anna the land without knowing what it was for, is going to have complicated feelings about his role when the truth emerges. And the truth always emerges. Rick cannot contain himself, and Wednesday in Port Charles is absolutely packed. Now, let us talk about Wednesday, because this episode is the kind that does not give you a moment to rest between developments, and where every scene is doing substantial work. Rick watching Dante and Elizabeth again is Rick operating from exactly the wrong instinct for the 5th or 6th time this summer. He has been unable to have the honest conversation that would actually address the situation. He has been accumulating evidence of a threat that may or may not be real while refusing to talk to the person who could tell him definitively whether the threat is real. And Wednesday gives him another front-row seat to something he does not want to see. This time, instead of simply spiraling further internally, he takes it somewhere. He turns to Sunny for a private conversation, which is both the most and the least appropriate choice available to him. Most appropriate because Sunny is someone who knows both Dante and the Port Charles relational landscape deeply. Least appropriate because Sunny giving Rick relationship advice while simultaneously managing his own secret romance with Justine is the specific kind of dramatic irony that Port Charles specializes in. The specific content of what Rick might be asking Sunny, whether he is contemplating proposing to Elizabeth to solidify the relationship, or whether he wants Sunny's honest read on whether Dante is actually interested in someone new or is simply reconnecting with an old friendship, matters enormously for where this goes. A proposal from Rick in this moment, motivated by jealousy and the desire to put something formal and visible between himself and the threat of losing Elizabeth, is a proposal born from the worst possible reasons. Elizabeth would sense that even if she could not immediately articulate it. And a proposal that is really about insecurity rather than love is a proposal that plants the seed of every future problem. Sunny potentially offering the reassurance that Dante is drawn to reconnecting with Lulu rather than to developing something new with Elizabeth is Sunny doing the thing that feels helpful in the moment, but may not be what the situation actually calls for. Rick needs to hear that his real issue is his own jealousy and his inability to communicate directly with his partner. That is not what Rick is asking for, but it is what he needs. Whether Sunny is the person who tells him that or simply the person who tries to calm him down enough to avoid a disaster is the question. Meanwhile, Drew and Nina facing each other again carries the full emotional history of what happened at that boathouse. She pushed him into the lake. He survived. They brokered a deal alongside Willow and Brennan that kept everyone out of legal jeopardy while resolving nothing emotionally. And now they are in the same space again, and it is not warm, and it is not resolved. The Ava reaction is the wild card in this scene. She says she had no idea hell had frozen over, which is the specific reaction to something Drew does that nobody expected him to do. The most likely explanation, given the trajectory of Drew's story this week, is that he makes some kind of gesture toward Nina that represents a shift from his previous total war posture. Not forgiveness. Drew is not there and may never be there. But some kind of acknowledgement that continuing to treat every person connected to this situation as an enemy is not producing what he actually needs. If Drew is genuinely trying to extend something toward Nina, a temporary truce, an acknowledgement of her position, something that opens a crack in the wall between them without dismantling the wall entirely, it is almost certainly connected to Scout. Everything Drew does that surprises people this summer comes back to Scout. She is the one relationship he has not been willing to sacrifice to his grievances. And if the path to giving Scout more of what she needs runs through finding some minimal peace with Nina, Drew may be willing to take that path even if he cannot name it that way. Ava cannot believe it. That reaction is the show's confirmation that this is as unexpected as it feels. Brennan and Nina having the urgent conversation on Wednesday is the scene that the whole summer has been building toward in the Nina storyline. He tells her to distance herself from Willow before the situation pulls her under. He is not being gentle about it. He is being specific and direct and urgent in the way that a person who genuinely cares about someone is direct when they see that person heading toward a cliff. Nina has concerns about the blackmail agreement with Drew holding together. Brennan confirms that her concern is legitimate and that the risk is real. The deal that was supposed to protect everyone is only as solid as Drew's continued willingness to honor it, and Drew coming back to himself with full fury and full capability is a man whose willingness to honor things he was coerced into is not guaranteed. Willow's warning to someone that walking away cleanly is going to be harder than they think is Willow operating in exactly the mode Nina should be worried about. She is watching every player in the situation closely. She is not settling into the corner Michael has backed her into. She is waiting for the opening that lets her move again. Jordan's unexpected offer landing on Wednesday may be the CEO position crystallizing, the specific moment when the possibility of running the company goes from something being discussed to something being formally presented. Jordan is at a genuine crossroads professionally and personally, and an offer that gives her direction would be welcome even if the strings Brennan plans to attach to it are going to complicate matters considerably. Kai's unease around Trina is not getting better. It is getting more specific, more directional, more like genuine fear rather than vague anxiety. The stalker, who has been watching Trina for months, has been patient. Patient threats do not stay patient indefinitely. The full Wednesday picture and what the week is building toward. And now let us look at what Wednesday means as a whole, because the individual scenes, Rick and Sunny, Drew and Nina, Brennan and Nina, Jordan's offer, Kai's escalating concern, are all parts of a larger movement that the week has been building since Monday. Thank you for watching. For a daily update, don't forget to subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon.